Arguments for and against Christmas celebrations have been going on for decades, and in fact, since the middle age of the 19th century, the two principal grounds in a plethora of arguments against Christmas have been advanced directly by the folks of the Christian sect, who believed, the Christendom sect, who believe that anything that is recorded in the Bible is unscriptural and therefore satanic. They argue that Christmas is not recorded in the Bible and that there is no evidence that Jesus the Christ was born on December 25th. Yes, this set of people, I'm sorry to say, I believe, are limited in their intellectual and mental disposition. As recorded in the biblical John chapter 16, verse 12, Jesus Christ himself had said, "I have yet many things to say to you, but ye cannot bear them now." That is to say, many things Jesus had wished to teach his disciples and his followers, but the consciousness of the disciples and the followers for the spirit and their spiritual energy of the planet Earth at that era or at that time could not bear those mysteries. So the instant Bible did not carry everything that Jesus Christ had wished to reveal to the world. The third argument against Christmas is predicated on the basis of historical rationality. The anti-Christian debaters submit that the root of Christmas is traceable to paganism, the ancient Roman festival of honor to the sun, the god called Sol Invictus Mithra. These circles look at the origins of Christmas customs. For centuries, Christmas was celebrated not as a single day, but as a whole season in part of the world, beginning with this day, December 24th, which is termed Christmas Eve. Perhaps the practice of celebrating the evening before the big day is an echo from ancient Jewish reckoning among earlier Jews. A day began at 6 in the evening and ran until 6 the following evening, just as Moses written in the book of Genesis, an evening and a morning were the first day. So the precise origin assigning to December 25th as the birth of the death of Jesus is indistinct. December 25th was first identified as the date of Jesus' birth by Sextus Julius Africanus in 221 AD, and later became the universally accepted date. One worldwide explanation of the origins of this date is that December 25th was the Christianizing of the died Solis Invictus Nati, day of the celebrations of the birth of the unconquered sun, a popular holiday in Roman Empire that celebrated the winter solstice as symbol of the resurgence of the sun, the casting away of the winter and the heralding of the birth of spring and summer. A second view suggests that December 25th became the day of Jesus' birth by a priori reasoning that identified the spring equinox as the date of the creatings of the world and the fourth day of creation, when the light was created, at the day of Jesus' conception. Christmas began to be widely celebrated with a specific liturgy in the 19th century. The traditions of observing it goes back to at least the 14th century celebration of the solar system sun. Therefore, 25th December was always the Saturnalia festival of the affirmations of love, emancipations of gift-giving, and the triumphs of light after the longest night. The book, titled Pagan Christian, co-authored by the two anthropologists, Christian Rush and Claudia Moller Ebeling, Adonbredos. Like many pre-Christian customs and beliefs, the whole feast commemorating the year return of the sun was dedication to the birth of Christ. So the question of the anti-Christmas debaters is, or what business of darkness and light? What fellowship is righteousness and profanity? Why should Christ's birth celebration be derived from the pagan festival of sun god honor? In answering these questions, I will assist the readers and viewers to evolve their intellects to the fact that there is no dispute that the Christian festival is traceable to the sun honor festival. Nevertheless, there was nothing of profanity in the sun honor festival which took place as of the art era. You will come with me to understanding that the symbolic tours at sun honor festival which took place before the Christendom launched official declaration of Christmas observation in AD 273. AD 273, yes, was nothing short of a symbolic honor to Jesus Christ in the consciousness of that era. Even though the partakers of the Sun Festival were not conscious of the personality of Jesus, the anti-Christmas debaters will adjust their view even only if they understand the sole personality of Jesus. Every era always has a degree of awareness of God. The sun, which is the center of the solar system, and Jesus Christ are not different. The sun is the atom of Jesus Christ. So the sun festivals was at the era of the ancient Roman, a honor to the Christhood. So there was Christmas even before the advent of the official declaration by Christendom in AD 273. I shall take you a bit deeper to the knowledge of the personality of Jesus before I proceed to talk about the significance of Christmas, which of course is extra historical concept. Let me remind you that these lecture religious mythologies are only a passive reflection. Rather, it is based on historical, philosophical, and scientific perspectives. The points I now ask you to observe particularly is the part played by the older truths. Failure to take account of it is the source of much of the unjust criticism leveled against Christmas celebration. This lecture admonishes and corrects the misconception that pose those criticisms. The teachings or understanding of the Bible by the present-day Christian churches, except few of the churches imbued with scientific concepts of Christ consciousness, may not be able to make the truest elucidation about the personality of Jesus. But the philosophy has delved into the problematic thrill of the controversy. The importance of philosophy is not overemphasized, and I fell in love with the wordings of page 1 of the 20th century philosophy and religion titled Pragmatism, a new name for some old ways thinking, found in the great books of the Western world. It says thus: philosophy is at once the most sublime and the most trivial of human pursuits. It walks in the minute crannies and it opens out the wildest vistas. It breaks no bread, as being said, but it can inspire our souls with courage, repugnant as its members. Its doubting, challenging, its quibbling and dialectics hovering at the common people. No one of us can get along without far-flashing beams of light it sends over the world perspective. These illuminations are least, and the contrast effect of darkness and mystery that accompany them give to what it says an interest that is much more than professional. Now let's look at the birth of Jesus Christ. All realities influence our knowledge and belief. To illuminate the personality of Jesus, I will refer to the literary poetry of Dante Alighieri, titled The Divine Comedy. It says thus: O light, O glory of the human race, what water is this that pours here? From one source and from itself withdraws itself. Taking the analytical character in this Dante poetry, it seems most congruent an element in sensitive statement ascribed to prophet Isaiah in the biblical Isaiah chapter 7 verse 14 thus: Therefore the Lord himself give you a sign, the virgin will conceive and give birth to a son, and will call him Emmanuel. In the biblical Isaiah chapter 9 verse 6 and 7, it records thus: For us a child is born, to us a son is given, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. So the genealogy of Jesus' birth is traceable to the heritage of King David, who once ruled over the Jewish Israelites. Isaiah chapter 11 verse 1 and 2, Samuel, 2 Samuel also, chapter 7 verse 12 and 6 to 16, Biblical Numbers chapter 4 verse 27, Biblical Micah verse 5, chapter 5 verse 2, Biblical Luke chapter 1 verse 67 to 79. All these demonstrate these fulfillments and linkages to the fulfillment of the prophecy of prophet Isaiah as quoted above. The biblical Matthew directly linked Jesus' birth to Isaiah's prophecy predicted hundreds of years earlier before Matthew was written. Biblical Matthew was written. It is recorded in the biblical Matthew chapter 1 verse 18 to 23 thus: Now the birth of Jesus Christ was on this wise, when as the mother Mary was espoused to Joseph. Before they came together, she was found with a child of the Holy Ghost. Then Joseph, her husband, being a just man, and not willing to make a public example, was minded to put her away privately. But while he thought on these things, behold, the angels of the Lord appeared unto him in a dream, saying, Joseph, thou son of David, fear not to take unto thee Mary, thy wife, but that which is conceived in her is of the Holy Ghost. And she shall bring forth a son, and thou shalt call him Jesus, for he shall save his people from their sins. Now all this was done that he might be fulfilled, which was spoken of the Lord by the prophet, saying, Behold, a virgin shall be with a child, and shall bring forth a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which is being interpreted, God with us. Christians and non-Christians are familiar with the story of Jesus' birth, the chronology, miraculous pregnancy, choice of birth at the manger, the prophecy of the angel to announce the birth, movement of the stars, the shepherds, and other associated miracles and happenstances. In the biblical Luke chapter 1 verse 30 to 33, and chapter 2 verses 8 to 15, and the biblical Matthew chapter 1 verse 13, where the story of the birth of Jesus alone lies. This is without prejudice to other sacred books, esoteric and philosophical texts that corroborate the stories of the birth of Jesus Christ. After conducting extensive research, philosophers, archaeologists, and scientists of the classical era had ascertained that these stories were not mere mythologies but actual incidents that blends the history of the planet Earth. So the personality of Jesus became philosophically interesting and worthy of attention. It is pertinent to have a brief insight into the personality of Jesus Christ, whom Christmas festival is dedicated to in the planet Earth. The ontology